Ladies and gentlemen, Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading. Today, market is up about 0.3%. There on the S&P Nasdaq 0.7%, semiconductor 0.4%, Dow 0.3%, also 2,000 transport, banks, energy, biotech, healthcare, home builders, utility, retail, emerging market, and physical sectors are seemingly green today. Bitcoin up, gold, silver miners are slightly up, dollar down, oil down, treasury bond up. VIX is down about 3%. There, let's stick with S&P 500 ETF. Spider! 65-minute chart here. So this is what we closed on Friday. It looks like we actually saw a significant gap up this morning here on that first hour. However, you can see some of these moving averages are now supporting the sellers. You can see that long-term moving average here has been acting as a resistance 2-3 straight days. You see that up move here. My buyers trying to gap it up on this day. Looks like last Thursday or so. Met with the long-term moving average. We faded. Bulls trying to get back up again on Thursday. Right on the long-term moving average as well. We see that gap down. And this morning, bulls get up one more time. Again, that long-term moving average in that vicinity. Quickly got faded down. However, the micro-term moving average was reclaimed on that first hour gap up. So you can see that micro-term trying to support the bulls here, at least in the last first 3 to 4 hours. However, that short-term now coming down, as you can see that big upper wick here. So you can see at one point bulls really went for it, but then again the short-term moving average coming down, supporting the sellers, and we see that decline once again. And then the on the last hour we see that bears went for it. So you see when this thing gapped up this morning, what happened was there was a down gap that was open yesterday. So we actually gapped over it. So if bulls were able to keep that gap open, that would have been an island bottom reversal gap. However, that gap was fully filled. At least the island gap is fully filled. Island gap meaning there's an up-down gap, up gap, right? There's a space in between. Well, that island gap is fully filled. However, because of this wick right here, you can see this is where we close. So we see that a little bit of that gap still remaining, and you can see we did through the hammer candle there. So that's somewhat bullish, close. If we can see a follow through, keep in mind we're still kind of slightly beneath that micro term, so bulls really need to reclaim that micro term as quickly as possible. The problem is short-term moving average coming down at 399, and obviously 401's been acting as strong resistance several days now. There are a lot of resistance levels that buyers need to reclaim, and bears are not making things easy. Should there be any decline going into tomorrow, buyer or the sellers want to make sure to fill this up gap from this morning completely. Remember, sellers were not able to feel it completely. If bulls were able to see a follow through tomorrow, this little up gap that wasn't fully filled, it's going to make the bears regret that they did not finish the job. And this little gap could turn into something much, much bigger if buyers were able to reclaim the short term and the long term. So it's best that as sellers go down and fill this gap completely and start coming down and some of the retest some of these lows. So check out that oscillator. So you can see that oscillator through that bullish divergence signal to that. I mean, we've been talking about this bullish divergence signal for quite some time, but I think as far as the formation is concerned, today we really saw that definitive higher low and higher high on that oscillator. Very similar to what we saw here, right? Just about last week here, we can see the lower high and lower low on the price action, completing that bearish divergence while the price has been forming what? Higher highs, right? So you can see that price is getting that higher high, right? Even seemingly higher lows there. but that oscillator is definitely not agreeing with that higher high here, forming that lower high. So here what happens is opposite is true, right? Conversely, you see that lower low on the price action, right? But that oscillator is giving us higher low, and we're not seeing higher high either on the price action, right? As you can see, we're actually seeing slight lower highs on the price action as well, while the oscillator has already made that higher high. So that completes the bullish divergence formation.
Perfect.
Only thing that bulls need, all signals can actually fail. It needs to be substantiated by the price action. When the bears through that bearish divergence right here, and when we saw that, remember, this is kind of similar situation here when there was this down gap. Remember, this down gap was here. Bulls trying to go up and fill that down gap. Remember what happened? That down gap wasn't fully filled. And since then, things got very, very extremely hectic for the buyers, as you can see right here. And that happened right on that bearish divergence. That down gap wasn't fully filled. It's very, very interesting that we have a very similar, that up gap obviously is much smaller, but you can kind of see we have the bullish divergence signal here, and that up gap wasn't fully filled. So if the bulls can get some of these moving averages to reclaim to the upside, to surrender to the bullish cause, and keep the price elevated while we have the bullish divergence setup going, there's a good chance the bulls can make some move, at least to retest a midterm here at 403 or maybe even 401. That's where the long-term moving average is residing. So if bulls don't want to waste this signal right here, this bullish divergence signal, bulls are desperately seeking higher prices. I'm gonna come back for you. We'll reassess the situation. Enjoy your evening. Go trading tomorrow.